Y'all can hear me? Yeah, okay. Okay, it's already up there. So yes, like he said, my name is Hannah Donahue. I don't have my tag. Okay. You'll see on the thing that it said Hannah Rosemarie. My business name is Hannah Rosemarie. My full name is Hannah Rosemarie Donahue. So I'm marketing myself as my name. That's just the easiest way and the best way to go about it because I am selling myself, which is my business. So a little bit of a background about me and who I am and how I became to be a fashion stylist. Most people don't really know what a fashion stylist actually is. So I went to Louisiana State University, go Tigers, and I graduated with my Bachelor's of Science in Fashion Merchandising. And I was always creative growing up. Like, I knew I loved to draw and color and paint and all that stuff as a kid, but I didn't really know that you could make this a career, basically. And I wanted the college experience. I wanted to go to football games and I wanted to feel what it felt like to be in college, but also study something that I loved. And LSU had a merchandising program. So I went to LSU, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. Has anyone been to New Orleans? Yeah, heck yeah. So many of y'all. Okay, awesome. So I will say y'all a lot in this speech too because of that. So grew up there, decided to go to LSU, graduated in 2012 with my degree in merchandising, and right upon graduation I actually got a job to become the GM of a clothing store in New Orleans, which is actually a pretty big deal after graduating to automatically have the role of being a general manager of a retail space. Normally you have to work your way up to that. And so I graduated and I did that. And within fashion merchandising, you do learn how to run a store, but a lot of people kind of clump fashion and style into oh, that's just an art major, or that's a drama major, or what classes are you really taking? You know, they don't really take it very seriously. But merchandising is actually very business oriented. I was 2 classes away from getting a business minor. So I was in econ. By the grace of God, I passed econ. I'm not that side of the brain, which all of you are, which is amazing. My brother's an engineer. He works for Entergy in New Orleans. But I'm more the right side creative. So we took accounting, finance, econ, business math, all of that stuff, which was really great to learn because when I graduated to run the retail store, I actually used everything that I studied in college, which was a big deal. So I ran that store. And then we moved to Baton Rouge, where LSU is located, an hour north, and I opened and ran the second store. So I was involved from the blueprints on, which is something you learn in merchandising as well, how to put the clothing store together. So if you're thinking okay, Dillard's has fashion merchandising, actually so does Academy Sportswear and Outdoors, Dick's Sporting Goods, your stores that you would just go in and maybe get a Columbia shirt. I'm actually also a merchandising coordinator for Columbia on top of being a stylist. So I'll go into Academy Sports and Outdoors and set up all of Columbia's clothing sections in there as well. So they have that. Okay, long story short, I graduate from there, do those, and then 2014 I get really sick, so I'm out of employment for a year. 2015 I start at a company that is styling online. So that's where I start styling clientele outside of New Orleans. This is where me being a personal stylist comes into play. I start making connections outside of the city. 2017, I leave there and I decide to go on my own. So I do professionals, people that are in medicine, people that are in finance, veterinarians, just everything. And I also do people in the entertainment industry. So I have clients that are, I hate using the word celebrity because it has a connotation to it, but they're in music, film, sports, and so on and so forth. So I do all of their events as well. So today I thought it'd be fun to kind of pose fashion in a different way of just okay, fashion is clothes, this is boring. I really wanted to peg it as something different. So we're starting as fashion as a language. Normally people just think it's clothes, but I wanted y'all to think about it in a different way. So before you start the YouTube clip, I just want to kind of preface it. So how many of y'all have seen the movie Devil Wears Prada? Yeah? Okay. So this is the beginning clip when Anne Hathaway goes into see Meryl Streep and she's in her outfit and she's actually giving her resume. So you can play it now.
Who are you?
My name is Andy Sachs.
I recently graduated from Northwestern University.
And what are you doing here?
Well, I think I could do a good job as your assistant. And, yeah, I came to New York to be a journalist and sent letters out everywhere and then finally got a call from Elias Clark and met with Sherry up at Human Resources. And basically, it's this or Auto Universe.
So you don't read Runway?
No.
And before today, you had never heard of me?
No.
And you have no style or sense of fashion?
Well, I think that depends on what you're...
No. That wasn't a question.
I was editor-in-chief of the Daily Northwestern. I also won a national competition for college journalists with my series on the Janitors Union, which exposed the exploitation of... Yeah, okay. You're right. I don't fit in here. I am not skinny or glamorous, and I don't know that much about fashion, but I'm smart. I learn fast, and I will work very hard.
I've got the exclusive on the Cavalli for Gwyneth. But the problem is, with that huge feathered headdress that she's wearing, she looks like she's working the main stage at the Golden Nugget.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your time.
Who is that sad little person? Are we doing a before and after piece I don't know about?
Okay, so obviously that's a little dramatic. It's Hollywood. They're getting the point across. Funny side random note, though, is I had a lot of friends in my major that moved to New York to work for big magazine editors, and sadly, that is really what the case is like in a lot of those offices. That's how the top fashion editors are and some of the people in the business. But that's besides the point. Basically, what I wanted to get at is she walks in there, and as you can see, she looks a little disheveled, and unfortunately, the role that she is placing for is at a fashion magazine, so she doesn't look the part. So fashion is a nonverbal language, and I looked, and nonverbal obviously means other than verbal, but it's involving a minimal use of language. So nonverbal can also be how you carry yourself, your expressions, and so on and so forth. So studies show that someone can appraise you within the first 7 to 30 seconds of seeing you without meeting you or doing any research on you. And psychologists believe that most people recall an encounter through nonverbal cues, wherein a huge portion of it has something to do with your personal appearance. And this is really interesting because when I was working in retail, I was getting trained by someone, and for me specifically, she was saying within the first 30 seconds of someone walking into the clothing store, you should actually be able to know their style based on what they're wearing, the cuts, the colors that they're wearing, and you should be able to go throughout the store and pick something out that you think they'll like, and that'll result in a sale. So within this, unfortunately, Meryl Streep, within the first 7 to 30 seconds of Anne Hathaway walking in, before she could literally even get a word out of her mouth, she looked at her up and down and was like, nah, you're not cut out for this position. I don't really care what you have to say, but this is the idea and the vibe that I'm getting off of you. Again, my presentation is not for you to have pressure and feel insecure like I have to look like I'm in a runway. It's just basically really be aware of how you look at the office, out and about. Really take note that people are watching. Whether or not you think that they really are, and they're taking note of how you're presenting yourself. Okay, so social meaning, this is basically like if you are going to someone like a personal trainer or your hairstylist. If the personal trainer is not fit, are you really going to trust them with getting you in shape? If your hairstylist has a janky, wacky haircut, are you really going to trust them with cutting your hair? Policemen, doctors, or nurse, this is basically saying if they're not in scrubs, then you wouldn't automatically go with them for a question because subconsciously you're thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to have the answer, let me get to them because they're looking the part. And what I loved was it says, in our society, certain looks have specific meanings. This theory may not seem fair, but it is a reality. For example, a person with a dingy, sloppy appearance, messy hair, and rumpled clothes, no matter the reason, conveys the message, I don't care. This is a personal example. So I'm selling myself everywhere I go. I can run into a client or a potential client. And sometimes I'm just stressed out and I'm tired and I'm like, I don't even care. I'm going to go and like what I went to sleep in, what I woke up in, like, you know, whatever. So I went to my local coffee shop, and all the baristas know my life because I'm literally in there all the time. And a client was supposed to receive a package that afternoon, and she texted me that morning and was like, it didn't show up, but it says delivered. And I'm like, literally that is like gut-wrenching to me because I'm not in the city where she needs the clothing, so she's 5 hours away. So I can't just drive up to her and drop something off. So I'm stressed out. I'm like, I need a coffee. Like, I can't think about it. So I go to the coffee shop, and the barista is behind the counter. And jokingly, though, but I remember this because it was like 4 or 5 months ago. Her name's Liz, and she was like, oh, Hannah, you're a walking billboard today, aren't you? And I was like, oh, frick. Like, yeah, you're right. I'm supposed to be selling myself. I can run into a potential client. Here I am, literally, like, the bags are in my eyes, my hair's everywhere. I'm not, like, dressed appropriately. So it's just something to think about. Like, of course, you're going to have those days when you walk into the office or you're out in public and you're just, like, tired, don't want to deal with it. But at the end of the day, people below you are looking at you, and people in your office and your surroundings are also, like, taking note of how you look and how you present yourself. Okay, so I won't read the first two, but it's basically just learning nonverbal cues, kind of studying your coworkers and people that are around you to how to better your idea of them and how they express yourself. But I loved the bottom slide. For better or for worse, realize that your outward appearance and demeanor influence how others will react to you. By emphasizing the positive aspects of yourself, through your dress and grooming, you can inspire confidence in your abilities and judgment, as well as lift your self-esteem. In essence, your clothing can be self-fulfilling and a self-portrait. And it's actually really true. I have a client who is like the financial advisor in a really big financial firm in New Orleans, and she came to me and was really stressed out because she's having men and women come to her and ask her opinion and are trusting like millions of dollars with her. And she just didn't feel confident. She didn't feel like she looked the part. She didn't feel like she was presentable enough to them. And so basically what I did is I went through her whole entire closet and created about 80 outfits for her. So whenever she decides to like meet with someone, she'll already have something planned out. But this has really boosted her self-confidence, and she's had much more confidence to actually do that kind of work. So just something for you to think about. Like this duster, I literally love it, and I wear it whenever I present and whenever I have big meetings because it makes me feel confident because I love it. And so I already have like a form of self-confidence when I'm wearing it. Okay, from the pros, I thought this was cool. Just to hone in again, the idea of what you wear makes a difference. Shirley White, career strategist, says close to 90% of what people remember about an encounter is related to nonverbal communication, a large portion being overall appearance and demeanor. Just to nail that point in again. Okay, so the second part of what I don't think Anne Hathaway really did when she was going into that meeting is she wasn't doing her homework, which is really, really important. Does that mean she did not study the business she was applying for? She did not even study the company. Meryl Streep was saying, do you even read Runway, which is, do you even read the magazine that you're applying to work for? She said no. Meryl Streep said, do you even know who I am? Anne Hathaway says no. So she's basically like, well, what are you doing here? And Anne Hathaway's like, I need a job. But Meryl Streep's like, it's so much more than just that. Like, yes, you could be qualified, but it's so much more than just, okay, I need a job. So this is something I thought was really cool when I was researching is a guy in his 30s was doing a startup, and he was reaching out and meeting with some investors in Southern California, and he didn't really know what to wear and what was appropriate for what they would want him to wear to the meeting. So he did this, Google questions. You can ask questions on Google. And he said, okay, I'm meeting with this company. How do I dress? What's appropriate? Like, I'm asking for a substantial amount, and I really need it for my company. I don't want to look too dressy, but I don't want to look like I don't care at all. And what I thought was really cool was so many people said, do your homework. Like, it's not embarrassing to call the HR department and say, hey, what's appropriate for this meeting, or what's appropriate for the company that I'm applying to work at, or the office where I am. They said contact a personal assistant if he doesn't have an HR company. Just contact someone that will be able to give you a good idea of like, hey, you don't need to wear a suit to this, but you actually need to wear a button up, and you should look a little nicer than wearing jeans. Like, it really matters. And I was actually literally just at lunch, and one of the girls, I can't remember her name, but she was saying that she was going into an interview, And the guy said, okay, don't wear a suit because they're going to they don't care about that. They care more about the technology. But if you're going to meet with this other company, actually dress more appropriate because they don't know so much about tech, but they do know about personal appearance and how you're going to present yourself as the company name. So that was really cool. So she did her homework, and I'm like, that's awesome. You did your homework. So, okay. Just another story. I'm all about stories to kind of hone in the ideas. From the mouth of a CEO, Carrie Kirpin, CEO of a successful agency, regretted showing up to an investors meeting with another CEO in yoga pants. So basically, her idea frame, and she says this in the article, she was like, I was a CEO, I was at the top of my game. I was meeting with her, but it didn't really matter whether or not she wanted to get involved, so I'm just going to wear yoga pants. And she was about to fly to Paris with her family, so she was in her travel clothes. And she said she literally walked into the meeting, and the other investor was a female as well. But she had her hair done, she had her outfit planned out, accessories. She looked like she was serious about the meeting. And Carrie said she walked in mortified, I'm never doing this again. I'm never coming to a meeting, looking like this. So whether you're in here and you are at the top of your company and you're at the top of your game, or you're applying to one, or you're maybe a little lower on the ladder, take that into account that just because you might be up here, you still need to stay up here with your appearance because you have people underneath you really looking to you to set the standard in the office. Okay, another story. This was so rad to me. So I was Googling and researching for this, and I thought this was really interesting because I feel like I'm a prime example of this story about dressing the part, and it really helps you mentally, which is crazy. So a study in Yale, this was a mock study. They used men between 18 and 32, and they wanted to test whether or not, okay, does it matter really how you dress in the workplace? Does it really affect you mentally? And it really does. So those dressed poorly in sweatpants, there we go, and plastic sandals averaged a theoretical profit of $680,000. Okay, $680,000 is, hello, it's great. But while the group that was dressed in suits amassed an average profit of $2.1 million, and the group dressed neutrally, which is you weren't in a suit, but you maybe business casual, which we talked about earlier, which we'll talk about, you still dressed professionally enough. They averaged about $1.58 million. $680,000, great, but I would rather be making $2.1 million than averaging $680,000. And then in another study, participants who dressed up were more likely to engage in abstract, big picture thinking like a CEO, while those less well-dressed concerned themselves with minor details. And then the last, according to a co-author of the study, this shows that the poorly dressed participants would often defer to the suited ones. So mentally they were thinking, okay, I'm just going to go to them, because you kind of already think suits, CEOs are probably up there. How many people in your business, if they are a CEO and it's business formal, they're already dressed up, right? So participants would often defer to the suited ones, and these suited participants could sense the heightened respect backing down less than they might have otherwise. So they weren't even CEOs in the study. This was all mock, but they started thinking like a CEO. They started thinking outside of the box because it actually mentally, it's crazy what the brain can do, but it mentally makes you think differently when you're dressed a certain way. Your confidence level is up. The way you think is different. It's really interesting. Okay, I just threw this in there. Sometimes some employers will come to me and say, hey, I really want you to come to a speech with my employees on how to dress, but it can kind of be a sensitive topic. It can be offensive sometimes if you tell them hey, I actually hate what you're wearing, you don't know how to dress, you need to figure yourself out. You should probably learn to also communicate properly. It's all about communication as well. But these are some basic do's and don'ts of what to do when you're coming to someone hey, you're doing an awesome job. I really appreciate what you're doing, but the appearance at this office does matter. Okay, so, back. Okay. So do state your intention to help help them succeed with the feedback. Don't allow your personal preference to influence how you think people should dress, right? So that's basically just saying Robert's doing an awesome job, but you literally hated the way his outfit looked on Monday, which, that's personal, it shouldn't matter. So don't go to him and say, hey, actually, you look awful, and this is how you should look to better succeed. That's not, you just need to learn how to communicate better. Prepare for the conversation and construct a sound argument grounded in business reasons for why they should dress differently. Do not focus on how uncomfortable you feel about the topic or make the issue seem bigger than it is. That's literally in life. Like, I could learn that in life sometimes. I get so nervous and I'm like, oh, I don't want to offend them, so I make it a bigger deal. When they come back to me and they're like, seriously, it's not a big deal. Like, just tell me how it is and don't put your personal opinions in it and just move on. And the last thing that I thought was awesome is take responsibility for not communicating expectations earlier. So if you're in the position where you do have to meet with someone, or you need to talk to someone in HR to meet with someone else, it's better to just take responsibility. Hey, I didn't communicate, like we just talked earlier, like, okay, it's business casual, or it's casual to come in the office, which some people don't know. You're literally coming into the office in jeans and like a wrinkled t-shirt, and you think you have great shoes on, but they're like, I don't know, running tennis shoes, whatever. But your boss or HR, someone didn't communicate, hey, we said casual, but like, make sure your shirt's pressed, or like maybe just put it like a loafer on, something. Just take that responsibility. I promise you it'll come off a lot better, because Anne Hathaway is going in there. Meryl Streep's like, no, you don't know how to dress. Like, I don't like what you're wearing. Like, it's so personal. And Anne Hathaway's like, well, frick, like, I don't even know, because it wasn't communicated to her. So this is the next slide. So before you start, Anne Hathaway does get the job, even though Meryl Streep does not want to hire her at all. But this just shows she's having trouble in the office and like fitting in and just feeling appropriate for the part, because she doesn't know how to appropriately carry herself in the office. Okay.
Okay, so I'm screwing it up. I don't want to. I just wish that I knew what I could do to... Nigel.
No. I don't know what you expect me to do.
There's nothing in this whole closet that'll fit a size 6, I can guarantee you.
These are all sample sizes, 2 and 4. All right, we'll join this for you. And
A poncho.
you'll take what I give you and you'll like it. We're doing this Dolce for you. And shoes, Jimmy Choo. Nola Blahnik. Wow. Nancy Gonzalez, love that. Okay, Narciso Rodriguez, this we love. It might fit. It might. Okay, now Chanel, you're in desperate need of Chanel. Darling, shall we? We have to get to the beauty department, and God knows how long that's going to take.
I mean, I have no idea why Miranda hired her.
Me neither. The other day we were in the beauty department and she held up the Schwimwear eyelash curler and said, "What is this?"
I mean, I just knew from the moment I saw her she was going to be a complete and utter disaster.
Miranda Priestley's office? No, actually, she's not available, but I'll leave word. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Are you wearing the
Chanel boots? Yeah, I am.
You look good.
What?
Oh, shut up, Serena.
Okay, obviously, again, that's a little dramatic. I'm not doing the point of it's all superficial, but it's, again, just to drive home the point is that she needed the self-confidence to look the part, and also people around her were watching how she presented herself and what she looked like. So another example would be, I have a friend that is an engineer, and he had to meet with the CEO of the company, and he was really nervous. He didn't know that day he was meeting with the CEO, but just so randomly happened to be wearing a coat that day with like some really cool, like different cufflinks, like New Orleans style, like I think it was like crawfish or something. And the CEO, which is so funny, like none of them really care that much about fashion per se, but he looked presentable and he was carrying himself well. So the people underneath him at his job were really looking up to him. So the CEO, before they sat down and talked business, was like, oh, wow, like I really like your coat. Like I like those cufflinks. Where are they from? They talked the first 30 minutes of their business meeting about his coat, where he got it from, and his cufflinks and the way that he looked. which I know that it sounds funny, but it's really interesting and eye-opening. And then my dad had to go meet with the governor for something for his job and wore a tie that he loved. My dad's not into fashion at all, but he's always making sure he looks presentable. And after the meeting, the governor was like, "Oh man, I really like that tie, Mike. Like, where'd you get it? Da-da-da-da-da. I would like one for myself." And my dad was like, already nervous after like having to present to him. And it was just, okay, cool. Like, I like what you're wearing. You look great. You look presentable. It really helped the governor really like believe what my dad was saying because he like looked the part. Okay, so this is a client of mine, a group of people sitting on a bench. I don't know what that is. Description generated with very high confidence. Okay. I did not put that there. But, okay, so this is a client of mine, Todd Walker. He went to LSU, and he played baseball, and he's in the LSU Baseball Hall of Fame. He's in the College Baseball Hall of Fame, and he played for Major League Baseball for about 12 years. And so this is him on the left in his daily attire. I think this was, like, during Mardi Gras one year, and his wife, like, took that photo. And this is him on the set at ESPN because he is an ESPN analyst. And it was so funny because he was like, "I don't really care. Like, I'm just going to throw on a suit and I'm just going to go on television. No big deal." And his wife is one of my clients as well. And I was like, "Todd, you're not doing that. Like, you're going to be on national television. Like, you're the face of the ESPN in the SEC baseball season." Like, he had 50 or 60 episodes that he was going to be on. And so she's like, "We're calling Hannah and you're putting some outfits together for him." So I actually put about 50 or 60 outfits together for him of suit looks for ESPN. So it's just really funny that he was like, "Oh, I don't really care." And then after I was leaving their house with all of the outfits planned out for him, he was like, "All right, like, I see how this is needed." So it was really cool for him just to see, like, to go from "I don't really care" to, okay, I'm the face on ESPN and I'm the face of SEC. Like, I should maybe care a little bit more about how I'm presenting myself. And I think it's crazy, like, literally that, I almost pressed the black button. Woo! Okay. But it's just funny that this, like, I don't know, it's crazy. This looks like, 20 years younger than this, but it's amazing just what a little bit of, like, grooming and updating your wardrobe can do. So, okay, so this is just the fun stuff. This doesn't have to do with, work and presenting yourself. It's just fun fashion stuff that I talk about all the time with all of my clientele. How to improve your style for men. Change your cufflinks or add cufflinks. I love when I'm doing suits for men and we can do all kinds of different cufflinks. And I know sometimes cufflinks aren't like really a big deal, but I think it could really add something fun and different to your suit coat. Switch your tie to a fun, colorful, funky pattern. And if you're a little hesitant to like even like do a color or a pattern, like just start small. Like it doesn't have to be a loud color and pattern. Maybe just do like a little color that's outside of the box. Something just to switch up your wardrobe. Press your clothing always, y'all. I know. I'm like, oh. I feel like people know that, but a lot of people don't. And I'm like, okay, literally invest in a steamer. I can email you the best steamer. I got it for $30 at Bed Bath & Beyond. I take it to all my red carpets, events, photo shoots, everything. It's amazing. So press your clothes always. I am kind of a stickler for men's clothes to press your pants. I love seeing the crease, like the line, but we don't have to get that technical. Just press your clothes. That's like the main thing, like no wrinkles, okay? If your shoes have laces, switch up the laces. That's super fun. If you don't want to invest, because I know men's shoes can be very expensive, if you don't want to invest in a whole nother pair of shoes and you kind of like the shoes that you have, I would say to get them cleaned and shined, which will make them look new, and switch up the laces. That's super cool. People are going to notice like that small detail of your shoes, I promise. Oh, I was like, do you have switch up laces? No. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm all about, I always wear my New Balances, but I switch up the laces, and I'm like, this is fun, it's different. Add different patterns of socks. I think it was one other presenter. He was sitting in the crowd, and just subconsciously, I'm just studying people and what they wear and how they carry themselves. And he had like a white button-up. I think he's 2 rooms down, a white button-up and black slacks. And he had his legs folded like this, and his pant came up, and he had these awesome like blue navy polka dot socks. And I was like, yes, you get it. Like, and I wanted to tell him that, but I didn't know if he'd be kind of freaked out. But I was like, yes, he understands. Like, this is a cool, different way to just switch up your look. Chains buttons to update look. This is for men and women. This is like, I thought, the coolest thing ever. So if you have a jacket that you love that's kind of old, you don't want to buy a new one, you have shirts. Literally, like, if you're a man and you don't want to do it, get your girlfriend, your wife, your sister, an aunt, your mom, whatever. Get her to the fabric store and get new updated buttons. It's so cool. It will take what you had into something totally different. So that's a really great recommendation. Add a pocket square. I think a lot of times, like, a lot of men that I meet with, they don't really wear pocket squares. It's not necessary, but I think a pocket square could be fun. Like, if you don't want to do a tie, don't do a tie. Don't do a bow tie. Just add a pocket square. And the pocket squares, I go on the next couple slides, they don't have to match the tie. I mean, obviously, you don't want a tie that's like maybe orange and a pocket square that's like green. Make sure they're complementary, but you don't have to have the same pattern of tie with the same pattern of pocket square. Shine your shoes, again. And tailoring, y'all, tailoring is it's huge. Tailoring for men and women. Tailor your clothes. I promise you, they will last longer and you'll actually wear them more if you're tailoring your clothes to fit you. So if you have a hard time finding something that fits you properly, you go to the store. For men, if it's a jacket, obviously for suits, you go and get fitted for a suit. But if it's pants or a casual jacket and you love it and you love the way it looks on you, but it's a little big in your shoulders or your arms, go get it tailored. I promise you, you're going to wear it longer and you're going to actually feel confident in what you're wearing. Because how many times do you like buy stuff and you're like, nah, I don't think I really like it, and it just sits in your closet forever and then your money's wasted. So tailor your clothes, definitely. Okay, how to improve your style for women. I love this. I actually do a lot of seminars for women and men too. I go into body styles for men too, but women, a lot of women just don't know how to dress their body type and how to dress it appropriately, which is can be really hard for women to figure out, okay, what is my body type and what do I even need to wear to make something look flattering on me? So for women, first of all, I would say just learn your body type. You can email me. I have diagrams that I go in depth with my clients. We talk about their body type, what they should wear, shouldn't wear, what's more like appropriate for them and flattering. So I can always send that to you. It's the best diagram that I've come across. So I would definitely start with that. Again, change buttons on shirts and jackets, sweaters. This will update your look. Add color to your wardrobe. I'm actually one to talk because I'm obsessed with black. I'm always in black. But really add color to your wardrobe. And for women, if you put color closer to your face, it'll actually make you look more awake. And it won't look so drab and draining on your face. So get a little out of the box and add a fun pattern to your wardrobe. Again, start small. You don't have to come out in floral pants and tops. Like, I don't know if y'all know who Harry Styles is. He's a musician. He was in One Direction. Yes, I loved One Direction. And he's in like these Gucci designer suits, head to toe floral. Like, heck no, most people aren't going to wear that. So just start small. Accessorize. Women always accessorize. It's the easiest way to make a look finished. Tailor your garments. Again, I can't stress it enough. We already went through that. And purchase staples and build an outfit out of those pieces. This is actually for men and women. Purchase a staple. So what's a staple? Great button downs, great pants, a suit jacket, a woman, a dress that fits you well, a skirt that fits you well, great shoes, and then base your outfits off of that. Don't buy trends and fads. Okay, and fashion myths. I get this question all the time too, because a lot of people don't know. You can wear navy and black together or black and brown because they are both neutrals. And I know that might sound like crazy to some of you. Like, I'm not doing that. I promise you can wear it. They're both neutrals. You will be fine wearing both of them. And you can wear white after Labor Day. I know, it's like blasphemy kind of to some people, but you can. Cream and white are actually beautiful to wear during the fall and the holiday season. Winter white. You can wear gold and silver together. Again, ties and pocket squares do not have to match perfectly. Choose complementary colors. And black is not the only color that presents power. A lot of times people think, oh, I have to wear black because it's the power suit. Whether that's a dress, skirt, top, for men, a black suit. You don't always have to wear black. You can wear navy. You can wear, for women, you can wear red. You can wear green. As long as it looks appropriate for the event that you're going to, I encourage you to step out of the box and not just always resort to black. I know it's easiest. I do that too, but it's not always the power suit for something. So this is just near the end. This is just contact information. This is my email and my website. I also have an Instagram, which I'm learning to update. My friends that are in social media and in the business with me really get on my tail because I don't really update on social media. So I'm learning and I'm trying. Cool. All right. Thank y'all. Y'all are awesome.